Behind the frozen windshields and rumbling engines of History Channel's ice road truckers lay secrets that would make even veteran drivers do a double-take. From a spin-off cast member's shocking criminal conviction to an unexpected connection with Breaking Bad's meth-cooking universe, this beloved reality show harbored more drama off-camera than on the treacherous ice roads themselves. The show's decade-long run was filled with bizarre production mishaps, surprising cast revelations, and industry controversies that most fans never discovered. Fact 1. The show's iconic opening is fake. Every episode of Ice Road Truckers opened with the same heart-stopping sequence that perfectly captured the deadly nature of driving massive trucks across frozen lakes. Viewers watched in suspense as a fully loaded 18-wheeler suddenly broke through the ice and disappeared beneath the dark, frigid water in a dramatic splash that seemed to symbolize every ice road trucker's worst nightmare. The footage was so realistic and terrifying that it immediately set the tone for the dangers these drivers faced every single day on their treacherous routes through Canada's remote wilderness. However, this iconic opening sequence that defined the show for years was completely fabricated. The dramatic truck falling through ice scene was not real footage of an actual accident, but rather a carefully crafted miniature model that was filmed inside a controlled studio environment. The producers used special effects and model work to create what appeared to be a genuine disaster, fooling millions of viewers who believed they were watching authentic footage of the very real dangers that ice road truckers encounter. The revelation about the fake opening caused significant problems behind the scenes when the actual drivers discovered the truth about how their profession was being portrayed. According to reports from the New York Post, 2 of the real ice road truckers were overheard complaining on their two-way radio channels about the staged scene. The drivers expressed their displeasure with the fact that the show's producers had created fake footage specifically designed to make their already dangerous job appear even more dramatic and perilous than it actually was. This discovery created tension between the cast and production team, as the truckers felt that the fabricated opening sequence misrepresented their work and added unnecessary sensationalism to what was already one of the world's most hazardous driving jobs. The fake footage became a source of ongoing controversy throughout the show's early seasons, highlighting the sometimes complicated relationship between reality television and actual reality. Fact 2. Mining companies banned the show. The first season of Ice Road Truckers was filmed primarily on the Tibet to Contoito Winter Road, which was considered the perfect location for showcasing the extreme dangers of ice road trucking. This route, located in Canada's Northwest Territories and Nunavut, was originally built and operated by mining companies to transport vital supplies to remote diamond mines during the brief winter months when the frozen lakes could support the weight of massive trucks. The road served as the backbone for several billion-dollar mining operations and was essential for keeping these isolated facilities running throughout the harsh northern winter. However, after the first season aired in 2007, the mining companies that owned and operated this crucial winter road became increasingly unhappy with how their operations were being portrayed on television. The companies felt that Ice Road Truckers was presenting their carefully managed transportation system in an overly negative and sensationalized way, focusing too heavily on the dangers and potential disasters, rather than highlighting the professional expertise and safety measures that made the operation successful year after year. The mining companies were particularly concerned that the show's dramatic portrayal was making their road appear more dangerous than it actually was, which could potentially impact their business relationships and create unnecessary worry among workers and their families. As a result of these concerns, the companies made the unprecedented decision to completely ban all commercial filming on the Tibet to Contoito Winter Road, starting with the 2008 season. A new rule was officially enacted that prohibited any commercial, media, video, or rolling film cameras from being used either inside vehicles or attached to the outside of trucks traveling on their winter road. This forced the show's producers to scramble and find alternative locations for filming the second season, ultimately leading them to move production to the Tuktoyaktuk Winter Road, also in the Northwest Territories, where they could continue documenting the challenging world of ice road trucking. Fact 3. Breaking Bad's Jesse Pinkman watches it. In one of the most unexpected crossovers between reality television and scripted drama, ice road truckers received a memorable mention in the critically acclaimed series Breaking Bad during Season 4, Episode 9, titled Bug. The reference came during a rare moment of awkward small talk between the show's two main characters, Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, as they found themselves in an uncomfortable situation where Walter was trying to make conversation with his younger partner in their dangerous methamphetamine operation. The scene begins with Walter asking Jesse what television shows he watches, clearly attempting to bridge the growing gap between them with casual conversation. Jesse responds somewhat reluctantly that he watches various programs, and when Walter presses him for specifics, Jesse mentions ice road truckers among his viewing choices. Walter, who rarely has time for television and generally looks down on Jesse's lifestyle and interests, asks what happens on the show, clearly unfamiliar with the reality series that was quite popular at the time. Jesse's response perfectly captures his character's straightforward, no-nonsense personality when he simply states, "Guys drive on ice." This hilariously understated description of the show's premise became an instant favorite among fans of both series, as it perfectly summarized the basic concept of ice road truckers, while also highlighting Jesse's tendency to reduce complex situations to their most basic elements. The exchange served as a brief moment of levity in an otherwise tension-filled episode, and demonstrated how reality television had become part of everyday American culture. This unexpected reference created an interesting connection between the two shows that aired around the same time period in the late 2000s and early 2010s. The mention also reflected how ice road truckers had achieved enough mainstream recognition that its inclusion in a major television drama felt natural and relatable to audiences, even though the shows targeted completely different demographics and explored vastly different themes about danger, survival, and the lengths people go to make a living. Fact 4. Hugh Rowland's nickname has mundane origins. Hugh Rowland became one of the most recognizable faces on ice road truckers, largely due to his intimidating nickname, the Polar Bear, which seemed to perfectly capture his tough, no-nonsense personality and his ability to survive in the harsh Arctic conditions that would break lesser men. Fans of the show naturally assumed that this powerful moniker came from some dramatic encounter on the frozen roads of northern Canada, perhaps involving his legendary stamina during brutal winter storms, or his fierce reputation among fellow truckers who had witnessed his skills in dangerous situations. However, the real story behind how Hugh earned his famous nickname is surprisingly ordinary and completely unrelated to any heroic ice road adventures or displays of bear-like toughness. The nickname actually dates back to the 1980s, long before Hugh became a television personality, when he was working as a trucker in British Columbia. During this time, Hugh's friends noticed the words "Polar Bear" printed on the side of a truck's bug deflector, which is the plastic shield mounted on the front of large trucks to protect the windshield from insects and road debris. When his friends saw this particular bug deflector with Polar Bear written on it, they immediately looked at Hugh and decided that the name was a perfect fit for their friend's personality and appearance. Hugh himself later explained in an interview with Hollywood Soapbox that his friends told him, "That fits you perfect," when they made the connection between the truck accessory and his character. He went on to describe himself at the time as just a hairy, gruff guy, pretty aggressive up there, who liked to fist-fight lots, which apparently made the Polar Bear comparison seem natural to those who knew him. The nickname stuck with Hugh for over 30 years, becoming such an integral part of his identity that when Ice Road Truckers premiered, the producers naturally incorporated the Polar Bear into his television persona. What started as a random observation about truck equipment became one of reality television's most memorable nicknames. Fact 5. Cast members were salary capped. While other reality television stars were earning enormous paychecks that could reach tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars per episode, the cast of Ice Road Truckers was deliberately kept on much more modest salaries by the show's producer and creator, Tom Beers. Beers, who was also the executive producer behind other successful reality shows like Deadliest Catch, made a conscious decision to limit how much money the Ice Road Truckers could earn from their television appearances, despite the show's massive popularity and high ratings that were generating significant revenue for the History Channel. The reasoning behind this unusual salary strategy was Beers' belief that paying the cast members large amounts of money would fundamentally change their personalities and compromise what he saw as their most valuable asset: their authentic blue-collar work ethic and genuine personalities. Beers was concerned that if the truckers became wealthy from the show, they would lose the humble, hard-working characteristics that made them so appealing to viewers in the first place, essentially transforming them from real working-class heroes into manufactured television personalities. This policy extended far beyond just limiting their episode payments, as the cast members were also prohibited from signing any endorsement deals or sponsorship agreements while they were under contract with the show. This restriction meant that popular drivers like Lisa Kelly and Alex Debogorski could not capitalize on their fame by promoting trucking companies, equipment manufacturers, or other related businesses that would have been natural partnerships given their expertise and fan following. The ban on outside income opportunities caused significant frustration among the cast, particularly since they were risking their lives and spending months away from their families to create content that was making millions of dollars for the network and production company. It was only after Ice Road Truckers ended its run in 2017 that cast members like Lisa Kelly were finally free to pursue lucrative sponsorship deals and endorsement contracts that reflected their true market value as recognized television personalities. Fact 6. Aerosmith's theme song was replaced. When Ice Road Truckers first premiered in 2007, the show opened each episode with one of rock music's most recognizable anthems, "Livin' on the Edge," by the legendary Boston rock band Aerosmith. This 1993 hit song, written by Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and Mark Hudson, seemed like the perfect musical choice to capture the dangerous, high-stakes world of ice road trucking, with its powerful guitar riffs and lyrics that emphasized living dangerously and taking risks that could have serious consequences. The Aerosmith track served as the show's signature opening music for the first 4 seasons, becoming deeply associated with the series in the minds of millions of viewers who tuned in week after week to watch the truckers navigate their perilous routes across frozen lakes and remote wilderness areas. The song's energy and attitude perfectly matched the show's dramatic tone and helped establish the sense of excitement and danger that made Ice Road Truckers such compelling television for audiences around the world. However, in 2011, during the show's 5th season, producers made the decision to replace the famous Aerosmith song with a completely original piece of music that was written specifically for the series. The new theme song, simply titled Ice Road Truckers Theme, was composed by Bruce Hannafin and Greg Montant, who were already providing much of the background music and scoring for the show's episodes. This change represented a significant shift from using a well-known commercial hit to creating custom music that was designed exclusively for the series, giving the show a more unique musical identity that couldn't be found anywhere else on television or radio. The decision to move away from the Aerosmith track may have been influenced by licensing costs, creative control considerations, or simply a desire to establish a more distinctive audio brand for the series as it entered its middle seasons and continued to build its dedicated fan base across multiple countries and television networks. Fact 7. Lisa Kelly was named Sexiest Trucker Alive. Lisa Kelly made history when she joined Ice Road Truckers in Season 3. As the very first female driver to be featured on the popular reality series, breaking into what had been an exclusively male-dominated television show that showcased one of the most challenging and dangerous jobs in North America. Her arrival on the series marked a significant moment for the show, as viewers had become accustomed to watching only burly, bearded men navigate the treacherous frozen roads of Alaska and northern Canada, making Lisa's presence both groundbreaking and refreshing for audiences who were eager to see how a woman would handle the extreme conditions. Lisa's skills behind the wheel quickly proved that she could match any of her male counterparts when it came to handling massive trucks on ice roads. And her confident, no-nonsense approach to the dangerous work earned her respect from both fellow drivers and viewers around the world. Her popularity grew rapidly as fans appreciated seeing a tough, capable woman succeed in such a physically demanding and traditionally masculine profession, and she became one of the show's most recognizable and beloved personalities. This widespread admiration for Lisa reached an unexpected peak when Esquire magazine, the well-known men's lifestyle publication, decided to honor her with the highly unusual title of Sexiest Trucker Alive. This designation was particularly remarkable because it represented the first time that a major mainstream magazine had created such a specific category to recognize someone from the trucking industry, and it highlighted how Lisa had transcended the typical boundaries of reality television to become a genuine cultural phenomenon. The Esquire recognition helped cement Lisa's status as more than just a television personality, transforming her into a symbol of female empowerment in blue-collar industries and proving that women could excel in careers that had historically been considered unsuitable for them. Her success on ice road truckers opened doors for other women in trucking and demonstrated that skill, determination, and professionalism were far more important than gender when it came to succeeding in challenging occupations. Fact 8. Alex Debogorski has 11 children. Among all the colorful personalities who appeared on Ice Road Truckers during its 11-season run from 2007 to 2017, Alex Debogorski holds the unique distinction of being the only cast member to appear in every single season of the show, making him the most consistent and enduring face of the series throughout its entire decade-long history. While other drivers came and went, faced injuries, or pursued different opportunities, Alex remained a steady presence who viewers could count on to bring his distinctive personality and extensive ice road experience to each new season. What many fans may not realize about this legendary ice road trucker is that behind his tough exterior and decades of experience navigating some of the world's most dangerous roads lies an extraordinarily large and close-knit family that would be impressive by any standard. Alex is the father of 11 children and has 13 grandchildren, creating a massive extended family that reflects his deep commitment to traditional values and his role as a devoted patriarch who takes his responsibilities as a father and grandfather very seriously. Alex's large family is directly connected to his strong Catholic faith, which has been a guiding force throughout his life and has influenced many of his personal decisions and worldview. He has been married to his wife Louise for nearly 40 years, demonstrating the kind of long-term commitment and stability that has become increasingly rare in modern society, especially among people who work in high-stress, dangerous professions that require long periods away from home. The size of Alex's family becomes even more remarkable when considering the demands of his ice road trucking career, which requires him to spend months away from home during the winter season, when the frozen roads are passable. Despite the challenges of balancing such a demanding and dangerous job with the needs of such a large family, Alex has managed to maintain strong relationships with all of his children and grandchildren, while building a successful career that eventually led to his television fame. Fact 9. A spin-off star became a kidnapper. In one of the most shocking developments to emerge from the Ice Road Truckers franchise, Timothy Zicour, who appeared on the spin-off series IRT, Deadliest Roads, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for kidnapping and extortion in a case that stunned fans and highlighted how drastically some reality television personalities' lives can spiral out of control after their time in the spotlight ends. Zicour had appeared in 11 episodes of the second season of IRT, where he was featured driving dangerous mountain roads in Bolivia alongside other North American truckers who were testing their skills on some of the world's most treacherous routes. The shocking criminal case began in December 2013 when Zicour hired a Las Vegas sex worker who went by the professional name Snow White. After giving the woman his bank card to withdraw payment, her services, Zikur became convinced that she had taken more money than they had agreed upon, and began a violent confrontation that escalated into a terrifying ordeal for the victim. According to police reports, Zikur repeatedly punched the woman in the face, tied her up with backpack straps, poured cold water from a mop bucket over her head, and locked her in a closet while threatening to kill her if she did not help him recover the money he believed she had stolen. The case took an unexpected turn when Zikur demanded that the woman give him a phone number for someone who could bring him money to resolve the situation. Unbeknownst to Zikur, the woman provided him with the number of a Las Vegas police officer who had previously used her as a citizen informant. When Zikur called the number and made his demands while the woman screamed in the background, the officer immediately set up a meeting and arrested Zikur when he arrived at the designated location. In February 2015, Zikur pleaded guilty to the charges and received the maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Fact 10. The show inspired a fatal tragedy. The popularity and excitement of ice road truckers inspired many viewers to consider pursuing careers in the dangerous profession themselves. But for one devoted fan named Brett Colley, this inspiration led to a tragic outcome that demonstrated the very real risks associated with the job that the show portrayed on television. Colley had become fascinated with the world of ice road trucking after watching the series and was so motivated by what he saw that he decided to take the bold step of applying to appear on the show himself, hoping to join the ranks of the drivers he had been watching and admiring from his living room. Unfortunately for Colley, the show's producers rejected his application to become a cast member, which meant that his dreams of appearing on Ice Road Truckers would not be realized through the traditional route of being selected for the series. However, rather than giving up on his newfound passion for trucking in extreme conditions, Colley decided to pursue ice road trucking on his own, determined to experience the challenging and dangerous work that had captured his imagination, even if he could not do it in front of television cameras. Colley began working as a driver for a food delivery company, operating trucks on Canada's Alaska Highway, which is known for its difficult winter driving conditions that can be similar to those featured on the show. This job allowed him to gain experience with the kind of challenging winter driving that he had seen on Ice Road Truckers, but it also exposed him to the genuine dangers that come with operating large vehicles in harsh northern climates, where weather conditions can change rapidly and roads can become treacherous without warning. Tragically, while making a delivery run on the Alaska Highway, Colley's truck slid off the road and crashed into an embankment, resulting in a fatal accident that claimed his life. The incident served as a sobering reminder that the dangers portrayed on Ice Road Truckers were not just television drama, but represented real risks that professional drivers face every day when they take on the challenging work transporting goods through some of the world's most unforgiving environments. Fact 11. Art Burke caused a cannabis explosion. Art Burke, who appeared on Ice Road Truckers from seasons 7 through 11 and became known for his aggressive driving style, unfiltered language, and dark sense of humor, found himself in serious legal trouble 3 years after the show ended when a dangerous home experiment went catastrophically wrong. Burke, who had 13 years of trucking experience before joining the show and was described as one of the more entertaining and colorful personalities during his time on the series, was attempting to create a concentrated form of cannabis known as shatter, when the process resulted in a devastating explosion at his residence. The incident occurred in 2020 when Burke was using a method that involved volatile chemicals to extract and concentrate the active compounds from cannabis plants, a process that can be extremely dangerous when not performed by trained professionals in properly equipped facilities with adequate safety measures and ventilation systems. Unfortunately, something went wrong during Burke's attempt at this home production, leading to an explosion that was powerful enough to cause significant damage not only to his own property, but also to neighboring homes and buildings in the surrounding area. The explosion was so severe that Burke himself was seriously injured in the blast and had to spend 12 days in the hospital recovering from burns and other injuries sustained during the incident. The damage extended far beyond Burke's personal injuries as the explosion caused more than $60,000 worth of property damage to neighboring houses and structures, affecting multiple families and property owners who had no involvement in Burke's cannabis processing activities. As a result of this incident, Burke was charged with the relatively rare offense of causing arson by negligence, which reflects the fact that while he did not intentionally set out to cause a fire or explosion, his actions were considered reckless enough to warrant criminal charges. In 2020, Burke pleaded guilty to this charge, accepting legal responsibility for the explosion and the extensive property damage that resulted from his attempt to manufacture cannabis concentrate without proper training, equipment. Fact 12. Drivers don't actually travel alone. One of the most dramatic elements of Ice Road Truckers was the way it portrayed the drivers as lone cowboys facing the frozen wilderness completely on their own, with nothing but their skills and determination to get them through the dangerous journey across hundreds of miles of ice-covered lakes and remote roads. The show frequently emphasized the isolation and solitude that these truckers faced, showing them driving alone through blizzards and whiteout conditions with no apparent backup or support, creating the impression that they were truly isolated in some of the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. However, this portrayal of complete isolation was largely a creative decision made for dramatic effect, as the reality of ice road trucking operations is quite different from what viewers saw on their television screens. In actual ice road trucking operations, drivers never travel completely alone but instead move in carefully organized convoys that typically consist of up to 4 trucks traveling together at safe distances to ensure that help is always available if something goes wrong during the journey. These convoys are accompanied by professional escorts who are specifically trained to handle emergency situations and provide immediate assistance if a truck breaks down, gets stuck, or encounters other problems on the ice roads. The escort teams carry essential equipment for roadside repairs, emergency communication devices including satellite phones that can reach dispatch centers even in the most remote locations, and other safety equipment that can mean the difference between life and death in extreme weather conditions. Additionally, all the trucks in these convoys maintain constant communication with each other through CB radios, allowing drivers to share information about road conditions, weather changes, and potential hazards they encounter along the route. This continuous radio chatter provides both practical safety benefits and psychological support for drivers who might otherwise feel overwhelmed by the challenging conditions they face during their long journeys across the frozen landscape. The show's decision to minimize or completely edit out these safety measures was designed to enhance the drama and make the truckers appear more heroic and isolated than they actually were. Fact 13. Producer accident ended Hugh's career. Hugh Rowland's departure from Ice Road Truckers after 8 seasons was not a voluntary career decision, but rather the result of a devastating car accident that occurred while he was working with the show's production team in 2014. The incident involved Will Morrison, a producer for the series, who was driving a vehicle with Hugh as a passenger when the car crashed into trees along a Canadian road, causing serious injuries to Hugh's lower body that would have lasting consequences for both his professional trucking career and his personal life. The injuries Hugh sustained in this accident were severe enough to prevent him from continuing his work as a professional truck driver, effectively ending a career that had spanned more than 3 decades and had made him one of the most recognizable faces in the ice road trucking industry. The physical damage to his legs and lower body meant that he could no longer safely operate the large commercial vehicles that had been his livelihood since he was a teenager, forcing him into an unwanted early retirement from the profession that had defined his adult life. The impact of the accident extended far beyond Hugh's professional capabilities, as he claimed in a subsequent lawsuit that his injuries also affected his ability to maintain intimate relations with his wife, which he alleged contributed to serious problems in their marriage. According to court documents reported by TMZ, Hugh's wife joined the lawsuit, claiming that the loss of physical intimacy and companionship had caused significant damage to their relationship and had fundamentally changed the nature of their marriage. Hugh filed a comprehensive lawsuit against producer Will Morrison, seeking compensation not only for his lost income and medical expenses but also for the broader impact the accident had on his quality of life and family relationships. The legal action highlighted the sometimes complicated and potentially dangerous relationship between reality television producers and the people they film, particularly when working in challenging environments where safety protocols and insurance coverage may not adequately protect participants from the risks they face while creating entertainment content. Fact 14. The show started as a book adaptation. The popular reality series Ice Road Truckers did not begin as an original television concept, but actually has its roots in a compelling non-fiction book written by Canadian author Edith Iglauer called Denison's Ice Road, which documented the real-world experiences and challenges faced by truck drivers who worked on the dangerous frozen highways of Canada's Northwest Territories. This book served as the foundation for what would eventually become one of the History Channel's most successful and long-running reality series, though the path from book to television took several years and involved multiple stages of development. In 2000, the History Channel produced a 46-minute documentary episode titled Ice Road Truckers as part of their series called Suicide Missions, which was later renamed Dangerous Missions. This documentary was directly based on Iglauer's book and provided viewers with their first televised look at the treacherous job of driving trucks over frozen lakes and remote ice roads in some of the most challenging conditions imaginable, introducing audiences to a profession that most people had never heard of or considered. The documentary proved to be quite popular with viewers and generated strong ratings for the History Channel, leading the network to continue airing reruns of the episode as part of their Modern Marvels series. Under this new banner, the Ice Road Truckers documentary continued to attract audiences and maintain good viewership numbers, which demonstrated to network executives that there was sustained public interest in this unique and dangerous profession. Recognizing the potential for expanding this concept into a full series, the History Channel made the decision in 2006 to hire Tom Beers, who owned Original Productions and had already achieved great success as the executive producer of Deadliest Catch, to develop a complete television series based on the Ice Road trucking concept. Beers used Iglauer's book and the original documentary as the foundation for creating what would become the 11-season reality series that followed multiple drivers as they navigated the frozen wilderness and transported vital supplies to remote locations. Fact 15. Speed limits are strictly enforced. While Ice Road Truckers often portrayed drivers racing against time and pushing their trucks to the limit across frozen terrain, the reality of ice road trucking involves extremely strict speed regulations that are far more restrictive than what most viewers might expect from watching the dramatic television series. Real ice road truckers must maintain a maximum speed of exactly 10 miles per hour when driving across frozen lakes and ice roads, a requirement that is not merely a suggestion but a rigidly enforced safety regulation that can have serious consequences for drivers who fail to comply with this critical speed limit. This seemingly slow speed limit exists for very important scientific and safety reasons related to the physics of how heavy vehicles interact with ice surfaces and the potential for catastrophic accidents if trucks travel too fast across frozen water. When a loaded truck exceeds the 10-mile-per-hour limit, the additional speed and momentum can create dangerous pressure waves and vibrations in the ice that may cause it to crack, shift, or even give way completely, potentially sending the truck and its cargo plunging through the surface into the freezing water below, where rescue would be extremely difficult or impossible. The enforcement of this speed limit is taken very seriously by the organizations that manage ice road operations, with dedicated safety officers and compliance supervisors who monitor truck speeds and issue penalties for violations. A first-time speeding offense can result in a 5-day suspension from the ice roads, which means lost income and potential contract violations for drivers who depend on completing their deliveries within the narrow window when the roads are operational each winter season. More serious speed violations or repeat offenses can lead to much harsher penalties, including hefty fines that can cost drivers several $100s and, in the most severe cases, permanent bans from using the ice roads for the remainder of that season or even future seasons. These strict enforcement measures ensure that the safety protocols that make ice road trucking possible are maintained, even though they create additional pressure and challenges for drivers who are already working under extremely demanding conditions in one of the world's most unforgiving environments.